All right, let's the YouTube live. Now we're gonna get the TikTok live. Oh, that's fucking weird. All right. My hair is a mess. Welcome. My name is Mr. Ryan. I am the Yinzer therapist. I am here for the 22nd, maybe, edition of the Mindfulness Power Hour, or as I like to call it, the Mindfulness Amateur Hour, because I am very much still working through the kinks and figuring out how to do all this wonderful shit. Today's a little bit more complicated because it's been a week, folks. It has been a week. Typically, this is a live stream done on Thursdays at 8 p.m. But with all the different things I had going on this week, all the different holiday and Christmas parties, it was pretty much impossible to get it done on a Thursday evening. And I've been kicking around the idea of doing this shit in the morning anyhow. So here we are doing a Mindfulness Power Hour special morning edition. Yeah. That is how it rolls. So my name is Mr. Ryan. I am the Yinzer therapist. I am a licensed professional counselor who is grief and trauma certified. I am a certified meditation teacher, a certified sound healer. I'm also certified in electrical behavioral therapy, DBT, and I'm certified in treatment of personality disorders. And what I'm continuing to try to do with this Mindfulness Power Hour is challenge everybody I can to take that time in for themselves. Studies have continued to show that taking 10 to 15 minutes a day for ourselves literally grows a healthier brain. By invoking that mindfulness and developing the different skill sets that promote mindfulness, you can literally grow yourself a healthier prefrontal cortex. And the prefrontal cortex is the quarterback of the brain, right? That makes everything else go round. So especially those of us with a trauma brain, right, that life has been quite lifey and it's got the best of us, it can be really important to take that time in for ourselves, grow that healthier brain, flush the stress out of our system, right? And do good things, right? Do good things. So that is why we're here each and every week. Well, most weeks. Most weeks. And we talk mindfulness, we talk mental health. We do what we can do to promote mental health awareness, right? And the biggest thing about this that I enjoy the most is teaching these guys different coping skills. Over the course of time, sometimes the skills get repeated, right? But overall, back-to-back weeks, I work hard to choose different coping skills to showcase a different way of healing and soothing our soul, right? Because coping skills are a very personal thing. You have to find what works for you, right? You have to find what is beneficial for you, right? So that's what we do, right? That's what we do. So that's what we're here for, is to talk mental health, to talk self-care, to talk coping skills, to learn about mental health, learn about our brain and why it does the things it does, and how to hack that brain, how to optimize our functioning, right? I'm still definitely in the very beginning stages of self-promotion and marketing, trying to get my name and things out there. But we're going to keep working at it. We're going to keep trucking along with it, right? Part of that, of getting my name out there, is the various events that I have coming up. This Sunday, right? We're now only 3 days away, 2 days away, depending how you want to count, right? We are 1, 2, 2.5, 3 days away from my mindfulness workshop down at Saging Space, their new brick and mortar location down in New Kensington. I'm going to be doing a Yuletide brain humming workshop. where we will be using the power of our own voice to stimulate that vagus nerve, brain humming, right? But instead of the traditional sounds of that sequence, we're going to be exchanging those sounds with festive holiday phrases. I think it's going to be a wonderful, awesome experience. And what's really cool is that workshop this Sunday, the 21st, 12 p.m. noon, Saging Space in New Kent. That is the kickoff. That is the pre-show to a Yuletide potluck. And Saging Space is creating this awesome Eco Stewards program where we're going to be getting out and working with Mother Nature and saving Mother Earth, right? And picking up litter and trash and all those kinds of good things. So I think that is going to be really exciting stuff. I think Sunday is going to be an excellent workshop, an excellent time. I hope to see some people there. I've definitely done what I can on my socials to put the information out there. Saging Space, Jess, the lady behind the scenes, has done an incredible job of helping me promote that event. I have at least one official registration ahead of time, and hopefully more people will either show up day of or let me know they're making it. And then in January, we're going to be doing another wellness fair from the MC Spiritual Healer. And then March and April, I have a series of workshops booked in my local Plum Community Center. And then hopefully after that, we'll have a weekly, at least a bi-weekly standing kind of workshop there at the community center. And then one of the things for my birthday that I'm going to be doing is hopefully planning and announcing my retreat, hopefully scheduled for sometime in May. So I long said when I started this Mindfulness Power Hour, it wasn't so much of gaining the attention and the following and all that here. I mean, that would be nice, right? I would love to have people tune in live to these streams and watch these things on replay, right? I would love that. But really what this was about was getting in the reps, right? Was getting in the practice, figuring out how to deliver my meditations, deliver my viewpoints, my vantage on self-care, right? How do I do my thing and let people, help heal the world, right? I have very much a giant fear of public speaking. It is one of the hardest things in the world for me to do. And I notice that every time I hop on here and the light camera goes on, all of a sudden, everything I've been planning, everything I wanted to do goes out the window, right? Just absolutely goes out the window pretty quickly. And I'm stuck here going, right? Which is why I was trying to write things down that I wanted to talk about. But ever since I won the election in Plum, will be serving on Plum Council as council president come January 5th when we're sworn in. So for the last 6 weeks since election day, it has been crazy busy. Just this week, I had a 4-hour budget meeting on Tuesday. Last night was my local Dem committee Christmas party. And tonight is a Christmas party with our solicitor and magistrate. That was, so there's just, I had a one-on-one meeting with my borough manager last week. So there's just a whole lot of learning, a whole lot of getting our feet wet, of figuring out where things are, where we want things to go. So that's really, zap the brain, which is why self-care is so important, right? To be able to do what I do, work a full caseload, still show up and do hours for Presley Ridge out in McKees Rocks, to show up as a public official and serve my borough, to still show up as a father and a husband. Your self-care game's got to be on point, right? You got to do everything you can to take care of yourself, to work hard to battle back against life's stressors, right? Because life gets lifey, people get peoply, work gets worky, school gets schooly, right? It is a tough world out there that takes a hell of a lot of existence, right? Effort to exist. But that's where that self-care comes into play, right? That's why we do streams like this, to promote that self-care, right? To promote the development of that self-care routine, right? To establish those healthy habits, to figure out those healthy things for our brain that we can do each and every single day, right? Again, to strengthen that prefrontal cortex, to grow those healthier brain fibers, right? It's such an important thing. One of the reasons why I'm so committed to creating content for the socials, right? Is that social media is a very toxic thing in a lot of ways. It is very much poisoning our brains and rotting us away, right? So my hope is by creating more and more mental health content, we can work on that algorithm, right? We can work on that algorithm, get you guys liking good, healthy mental health content, which will then make sure your feed is full of good mental health content, right? And then it just kind of hopefully becomes that snowball effect where maybe instead of doom scrolling all the time, we're watching healthy things and listening about different coping skills and developing and working on our empathy, right? It feels like screens and social media is here to stay, that there's not much that we can do about that, right? So let's find a way to do it the right way. Let's find a way to do it healthy, right? Let's find a way to do it in a beneficial manner that actually brings goodness to this world, not chaos and despair, right? So one of the things for me is that I have been really, really slack-a-lacking on my self-care. That has definitely been a thing. It's definitely been a struggle. But that's some of the issues with where we're at right now. Is life is just too lifey, right? It's just too goddamn busy. I'm trying to make the good self-care choices, but it's just a lot. It's hard. It's not easy. That's why I always say self-care is a choice, right? Sometimes it's a choice we can make. Sometimes it's a choice we can't make, right? It just kind of depends. But we got to keep trying, right? And that's where yesterday I got a cancellation. I had a gap, right? And I could have done a whole lot of things. I really wanted to take a nap, right? And instead, I went to my local mall, Moroville Mall, right? And I did an hour walking around, right? No, it wasn't the most bestest, most exerting of exercises out there, but it was something, right? Instead of laying down and taking a nap, doing this, doing that, doom scrolling, I chose to do something, right? I chose to go to the mall and get my steps in, right? That's a wonderful thing. That is really, other than working on my meditations in the morning, that's really about it in terms of my self-care right now. I got to get back to my powerlifting, right? I got to get back into the routine of things in the morning, lifting those weights, because it definitely makes a difference. But it is what it is, right? We're not an infinite resource. We don't have all the fucks to give, right? There's only so many spoons that we can carry. Sometimes you just don't got it. And right now, around the holiday times, with making sure I got all the kids stuff and the wife stuff and figuring out the family dinner stuff and all that, I just haven't had the mental capacity for it, right? And I think that's one of the reasons why I've kind of started calling this also my own personal video log, right? Because it's not getting the audience that I want here. So I'm pretty much sitting here talking to my fucking self, which means I can talk about whatever the fuck I want. And it's really just working to have a conversation with myself every week and kind of identifying where I'm at with stuff, what I want to work on, where I want things to go, right? And I think right now, each week is that constant reminder that my self-care isn't where I want it to be, that my self-care is not as strong as I want it to be. And we talk about, the new year coming, right, and making those New Year's resolutions. I definitely think part of that for me is going to be, getting back to the self-care, right? Getting back to the powerlifting, getting back to throwing those weights around. Really working to increase my self-care routine, right? So yeah, that's my self-care right now, right? For those of us watching live, I'd love to hear what your self-care is, right? What are the things that you're doing to promote your mental wellness, right? What are the things that yins are doing to soothe that soul, right? To make those investments in your mental health, because it's super important, right? We deserve constant investment in ourselves, right? We deserve to take that time in for ourselves. And I hope you guys are out there figuring out how, right? Finding the way to make those investments. I do. I really, really do. The other thing we always like to talk about here, because it's so important, right, is gratitude, right? showing appreciation for the things that are going well in our lives, the things that are going good. There is such an emphasis on all the bad, right? And all the bullshit, all the horrible shit that happens to us that we sometimes forget to talk about the good. We forget to talk about the awesome, right? That's something that we got to change, right? We got to focus on what's working, what's going right, what's happening, right? Um, I think what I am grateful for right now, and I think that's one of the biggest reasons why I wanted to get on this stream today, even if it was at a different time than my usual stream, is to express the gratitude for myself, right? For me continuing to show up for me. I started this Mindfulness Power Hour live stream about 8 months ago. We've almost been at it for a year, right? And that's pretty cool that I'm still sitting here. I'm still doing it, right? I think it is absolutely incredible that I'm here on episode 22 of this mindfulness series, right? That I have continued to show up week in and week out to get better at my presentation style, and get better at communicating with Yin's guys, of figuring out the tickety talks and figuring out the YouTube, right? And building this community. I love and I'm so grateful for that I've had the mental fortitude to keep showing up and keep doing this. It's not easy, especially when you're not getting the traction that you think you should. You're not getting the views, the likes, the shares, the love, right? It's hard to keep showing back up and kind of sit here and talk to myself each week, but it's what I need to do, right? In this world, you got to persist, right? You got to keep on going. Not a lot of things are going to be kind or good or easy right away, right? Most people don't pick up a guitar and just start fucking playing Stairway to Heaven, right? It takes time to learn how to play that, to get the skills necessary to play that kind of stuff, right? For me, somebody who does not do social media, does not have an online following, just friends and family, right? I think my personal Facebook is like 200 people. Somebody who has a fear of public speaking, right? Who does not like being in front of the camera, right? It has been a challenge just to do this, just to be vulnerable, to put this stuff out there in the world, to make it public, right? It's an incredible thing. I am so grateful that I've been able to stick with it for as long as I have, right? When we first started doing this, we were going every other Thursday, right? The first and third Thursdays of the month, and then I got my feet wet and was like, man, I think I can really get in a rhythm with this if I could do it every week. So starting September, fall, this is September 2025, that's when we switched to the weekly format, right? That most Thursdays at 8 p.m., here we are, Mindfulness Power Hour, talking mental health with anybody and anybody out there that's willing. And we've been able to keep it going for 3 strong months, right? And now I feel like I'm getting a hang of things. I feel like I'm getting better at my presentation and my style, and communicating with you guys about what we're doing here and what this is about. I still definitely have some things to work on with the co-hosting and things like that, because I do want this to be interactive, right? I want to hear from you guys out there on what is going right in your life. What is your self-care looking like? What are the trials and tribulations that life is throwing you guys' way, right? I want that. Being a licensed professional counselor that is grief and trauma certified, I'm sure there's questions about mental health that you guys have or want answered. I'm sure there's mental health related topics and interest out there that you want to share, right? So we're going to keep working at it. We're going to keep growing it. We're going to keep showing up, right? One of the big reasons why I fought for this stream this week, even if I had to do it at a different time than usual, it's just I think this is going to be the last one this year. The next 2 Thursdays are holidays, right? We're talking Christmas Day, the 25th, and then New Year's Day, the 1st. I'm going to be crazy busy with family stuff and all that during those weeks. I still got to work, right? I still have a full caseload. I'm going to have to see my clients, right? So it's not just going to be 2 weeks of off, because that just doesn't happen in this line of work, especially this time of year, right? This time of year is tough for a therapist, because I have my own family and holiday traditions and things that I need to do and honor. But I also have clients, and this is the worst time of the year for them, right? The Christmas, the New Year's is absolutely some of the hardest days that they're ever going to face. So I got to show up for them, right? I got to show out for them. So it's definitely going to be a challenge over the next few weeks, just figuring out how to balance the workload with clients versus being here, right? Um, so yeah, so that's what I'm grateful for right now is that I keep showing up, I keep working at it. I could have easily blown this week off. I could have blown off the last few weeks. But I think I need to honor myself by continuing this series, right? Continuing this video log, continuing this mindfulness amateur hour. Because it's good to have a journal, right? It's good to write down what you're thinking and feeling and what you're experiencing. And I hope for me, right? That one day I will have been doing this enough and long enough and successful enough that I look back at these early streams, right? These early episodes of the Mindfulness Power Hour, and I get blown away. And I see where I once was and can sit there and reflect on the journey and how far I've come. So I got a question on the TikTok here, and it seems like this keeps coming up, and I wonder why. Another question about believing in God. I think God is a label. I think God is a name. It's a term. It's a definition. I like to use the word universe. I firmly believe in the power of the universe. I firmly believe that there's something somewhere, somehow, pulling the strings and helping guide us. I don't know enough to say if it's a god or a goddess or gods and goddesses. I don't know enough to say whether it's a simulation or not. I don't know enough to say what is real and what isn't real, right? All I know is what I experience here in front of me and around me. And I truly believe that a lot of religion is a game of telephone. There's a reason all religions started in the same spot of the world, right? And my hope is that the more that we invoke kindness, the more that we develop radical empathy, right? The more that we do kindness without reserve, with abandon, right? We just do it. That we can really change the world. I really believe at the end of the day, if there is a sort of judgment, right? If there is that whole thing, that what it's really going to boil down to is what kind of person were you? Were you kind-hearted? Did you show empathy? Did you care about others? Did you lift other people up? So yeah, I guess I believe in God, but I also believe in gods and goddesses and none of it at the same time, right? Because that's the duality of life. Sometimes things can be true and not true at the exact same time. Just depends on how you look at it, right? Perspective matters. So as the format seems to be with this stream here, we start off talking about our self-care, right? What we're doing to make ourselves better and take care of our brain space, right? And then we talk about gratitude, right? What is going well for us? What is working for us? What do we like? All that, right? And then once we get those two important pillars out of the way, if I haven't come up with anything that I really want to talk about, and there's nobody really got any other mental health questions or concerns that they want to share or have addressed, then we move into the coping skill demonstration. Right? And to me, I think is really the big thing, right? Is being here to work with Yin's guys on our coping skills. It's develop that toolkit, right? That coping skill toolbox to handle life's bullshit, right? Because sometimes it's a lot. It's a lot sometimes, right? And sometimes we really need some assistance and we need some help to get through and do something with it, right? Coping skills are that thing, right? And the thing about coping skills is, yeah, they're important when life is getting lifey and people getting peoply and things like that, right? But at the same time, we need to be practicing them every day, right? We need to make that part of our daily routine, right? Like, again, I'm a big sports guy, so I use a lot of sports analogies and metaphors in my therapy. If you're trying to learn how to hit home runs, right? If you just show up to the game every Saturday and just start swinging, it's not going to work out that well, right? Yeah, maybe every once in a while you get lucky and connect with the ball, off it goes. But to really get good at it, to really become a good home run hitter, you got to work at it. You got to practice. You got to understand how your brain works, how the flight and elevation paths, and how to, right? You need to know the science behind those things. And that's why this stream exists, right? To challenge people on that self-care, to develop that routine, to learn different ways to cope, right? Learn different ways to soothe the soul. And that's where I really like this festive brain humming workshop that I've prepared for this Sunday. Sunday the 21st at 12 p.m. down at Saging Space in New Kent. It's the kickoff to their Yuletide potluck and eco stewards meeting. Please check out Saging Space and all the socials to learn everything about it. But that's why I really like this workshop, because instead of the traditional brain humming sounds and vibrations that I teach the rest of the year, right? I've created a list of different holiday words that I think work very well, right? That elicit the same kind of humming, right? The same kind of vibrations that we're hunting for, right? And that's what we're going to do here today, right? We are going to do another preview of what is in store for those that are able to make it this Sunday. So last week, if you tuned in at all or watched the replay, we used these phrases to get our humming on, right? To activate that vagus nerve, to stimulate all that brain functioning, right? And the words we used last week were Rudolph, mistletoe, and golden rings, right? So what we're going to do today is we're going to use ho, ho, ho. We're going to use snowman. And then we're going to use my favorite, as you might call it, from The Nightmare Before Christmas, Santa Claus. Yeah, right? And so for those of us who've never joined me on a brain humming workshop, that have never really done this kind of coping skill, what we're doing is just trying to get vibrations going using the sound of our own voice, right? We've really understood that the vibrating of that vagus nerve can help relax it, help reset it, really help get our brain space in a good spot, right? I always encourage people to do what you can. I do 20 minutes of meditation a day. I teach these coping skills for a living. It's very possible that my lung capacity is more than yours, that I can hold these sounds, hold these notes for longer. Don't have to match me. Don't have to match my tone. Don't have to match my pitch, right? All we're trying to do is get that vibration going, right? So it can take a little bit of volume, right? With the traditional brain humming sound sequence that we do, there are different hand positions for the different sounds, right? So if you have a certain part of your body that feels a little tight, maybe you got a headache going on, feel free to put your hands wherever that tightness may be, wherever that discomfort may be, right? Because using the hands like that can help channel the vibrations to where we want them to go, right? So what we're going to do here is I'm going to demonstrate. There we go. I'm going to demonstrate each of the three sounds. We're going to do each of the sounds 3 times. So this is going to be 9 different kind of sounds. In between each one, we're going to take a kind of deep breath and just kind of take a moment to see how we feel, right? To see if we notice any changes. Just to help with that, what I'd like everybody to do, whether you're watching this live or you're watching this on the replay, is let's take a big deep breath in, right? Let's try to take an inventory of where we're at right now. Let's try to think about where our brain space is, what we're thinking, what we're feeling, where things are at today, right? So hold on, trying to get the computer to work with me here. Okay, so the first phrase that we're going to do is ho, ho, ho. All right, now I'm going to do it once, and then we're going to do it 3 times together, okay? So this is what it should sound like if you're using ho, ho, ho as a brain humming thing, right? Okay, no, I don't know what happened there. So it's going to sound like this. Ho, ho, ho. All right. So again, we're just trying to elongate those hoes, and get that vibration to going, activating that vagus nerve. All right. So we're going to do this 3 times and take a big deep breath afterwards. So breath in. Ho, ho, ho. Again. Ho, ho, ho. Again, don't have to hold it as long as I do. I really try to push myself with this. It's my favorite part of teaching this stuff to you guys is I get to do it too. Last one for this sound. And then ho, ho, ho. All right, let's just take a big breath in. Take notice of any changes. Do we feel tingly anywhere? Does our brain feel clear anywhere? Are the voices inside our head any quieter? I know for me, one of my favorite parts of this kind of exercise is that voice inside my head goes shut. Right? In fact, if I do it often enough and I teach enough people constantly enough, it gets so quiet up there sometimes it's a little weird. It's a little different. It's a little scary. Used to always have my buddy up there to talk to. You know, mate, no, mate. So the next sound that we're going to use here is just the word snowman. 2-syllable words are really great for this. Really can help get that vibrations going, right? So again, same thing. I'm going to demonstrate it once, and then we'll do it 3 times together, okay? So here we go. It's going to be like this. Snowman. Okay. So let's get after it. We're going to do this 3 times. And again, take that deep breath and kind of check in and see how we feel. Thank you guys for joining me here. Don't forget to like that stuff, subscribe that stuff, share the hell out of this stuff. Let's build this mental health community and help heal the world, right? So here we go. Brain humming festive edition using snowman. Snowman. Again. Feels so good. I feel my brain all humming and vibrating and stuff. All right, last one for snowman. And all right, big breath in. Hold it. Oh, I know about you guys out there, but I'm feeling the vibration, I'm feeling that tingly feeling, and that's that vagus nerve being activated. That's that brain being activated and starting to produce all those happy brain chemicals. That's that stress chemical, the cortisol leaving your body, right? And that's what we want, right? We have to reduce the stress in our bodies. We have to reduce those toxic chemicals. Exercises like this are a wonderful way to do that. They really, really are. So we are reaching the last sound of today's coping skill demonstration. I hope you guys have enjoyed yourself, are enjoying this coping skill demonstration and our presentation here today. Please keep turning in. Like, follow, subscribe, share the hell out of this shit. This is going to be my last live stream, most likely, at least of the Mindfulness Power Hour edition for the year. We'll pick things back up in January. The next one should be Thursday, January 8th at 8 p.m. But we'll check on that, right? Follow my channel, please. There'll be all kinds of updates and promotion there. Don't forget, I have this longer, more full version of this festive brain humming workshop live in person this Sunday, the 21st at 12 p.m. at Saging Space in New Kent. Check out all the socials for Saging Space to learn all about it. And this is the last sound of this sequence for today. And we're going to do Santa Claus. Just like the first two sounds, I'm going to demonstrate it first, and then we're going to do it 3 times each together. Okay? So this is what Santa Claus would sound like for brain humming. Santa Claus. All right, let's do it 3 times each. Let's get that brain humming on. Let's activate that brain, produce all those happy brain chemicals so we can have a wonderful throat punch Thursday that hopefully isn't too throat punchy. So let's get after it here. Santa Claus. Santa Claus. Times. Santa Claus. All right, last one here. Last one. Please remember to like the hell out of the stream, share the hell out of the stream, let everybody know what's going on here so we can all get on this goodness and keep working to save and heal the world in which we live, because it is fucked out there if you haven't been paying attention. So last one here, Santa Claus. All right, let's take a big breath in. How do you guys feel out there? Any differences? Do you feel any different at all? Do you feel any lighter, heavier? Does your brain feel clearer, kinder? How's that voice between your ears? Right? Has it gone quiet a little bit? Has it been behaving itself now? Right? I think that's where I love this brain humming exercise is it can be so instantaneous. It's something that you can do anywhere you are, right? Yeah, it can get a little loud sometimes. And sometimes you got to be careful in time and place. But overall, it is very accessible, very good and easy to do, right? We're just using the power of our own voice, getting those vibrations on, activating that vagus nerve, stimulating that brain to produce all those happy brain chemicals, right? It's a wonderful form of coping skills. It's a wonderful wellness strategy to get into. It's not for everybody, right? But I hope you guys out there enjoyed it today, whether you watch it live or on the replay. As I'm working on the closing, right? If you didn't know, my name is Mr. Ryan. I am the Yinzer therapist. I'm a licensed professional counselor who is determined to heal the world one session at a time. I've started live streams like this one, understanding that there's only so many people that are going to make it to my therapy office, and I can reach a whole lot more by doing stuff like this, right? So I'm going to keep getting after it. I'm going to keep showing up for myself, keep showing up for the world that I want to sparkle like a motherfucker, right? And I really encourage you guys out there to like, subscribe, share, go to my feeds, check out all my content. There's a lot of stigma around mental health. There's a lot of people that will never be able to make it to my therapy office for one reason or another, but it doesn't mean they couldn't benefit for some coping skills. It doesn't mean they couldn't benefit from wellness strategy to help soothe their soul, right? You listen to Miles 4-wheeler. It's rap, dude. I love rap. Rap is one of my favorite things. Miles 4-wheeler. Well, since we're about to wrap this up here, I'm actually going to put that into my YouTube music right now, and I'm going to check that out. I think that's one of my favorite things about working with different clients of all different backgrounds, is that I get exposed to all kinds of different music. And I get to learn all kinds of different shit, and it's just awesome. So, realist, ETH fan, I'm glad that you found something that works for you. Mindfulness is a wonderful way to help heal that brain, and music, it can be a real awesome gateway to that mindfulness, right? Focusing on the groove, the beats, the instruments, the lyrics, right? The groove. There's so much of you can listen to the music, and that brain starts coming in with those intrusive thoughts, and you'd be like, no, fuck you, brain. I ain't thinking of that shit right now. I'm listening to my song, man. I'm listening to my goddamn jam, right? So music is a wonderful, wonderful way to access that mindfulness. But that's it for me today, folks. I got to run. I got to get sessions going on. I got to go do some things. So please like, follow. I will see you guys on the flip side. Oh, thanks, dudes. I'm trying, man. I firmly believe that you had to be the change you want to see in the world, right? And if we're tired of the world in which we live, we got to stand up and do something about it. If all you're going to do is sit in the dugout and bitch, how you ever going to throw a shutout, right? You got to get active. You got to engage. You got to do something. Healing people through the power of conversation is my superpower. I don't know why I got it. I don't know how it happened, but it's here, right? I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep working hard to do what I can to make this world sparkle, to get this world back on track. The right people at the right time, at the right place can change the world. I firmly believe I am in that, have that capability. So we'll keep getting after it. I may not do another Mindfulness Power Hour this year, but the other live stream that I like to do is called Body Doubling. It's where I sit down with a bunch of different people and we work to get our to-do lists done. Right? We work to conquer whatever's on that to-do list for today. But again, I got to run. I got my own therapy session at 10. I got a whole full slate of clients today. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Please check out my channel for the rest of my videos. Please check me out on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook, Yinzer Therapist 37. I release all kinds of shorter coping skill demonstration videos, positive affirmation videos, right? Just again, trying to change the world as much as I can. So thank you guys again for tuning in. This is the Yinzer Therapist signing off. Peace.